North Staffordshire in England, in particular Stoke-on-Trent and its neighbouring Newcastle-under-Lyme, have been at the very heart of the world's ceramics industry since the late 1700s. Stoke itself is municipally quirky, a federated city that is comprised of the 5 individual towns of Burslem, Stoke-on-Trent, Longton, Trentham and Hanley. These days, the city's most famous sons include people like Sir Stanley Matthews, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Lemmy from Motorhead and Robbie Williams from Take That. But long before footballers, rock stars and pop singers, the area was put onto the international map by even more famous names. Names like Wedgwood, Samuel Bell, Royal Dalton, Spode and Wade. The city's historical economic power sprang forth during the Industrial Revolution. The lattice work of canals throughout the area provided the ideal distribution facilities, whilst the local abundance of clay and coal provided the raw materials necessary for the development of a thriving ceramics industry. At the peak of Stoke's dominance of the international pottery industry in the 1800s, there were as many as 4,000 of the distinctively shaped bottle kilns adorning the city skyline, a skyline marred by the coal smoke that belched from these superheated coal-fired ovens. As late as the 1950s, there were still around 1,400 of these traditional bottle kilns still in use, but then the Clean Air Act was passed, and the electric kiln became the norm. Today only 47 of the original bottle kilns survive, though none are now used as kilns. All of them are listed buildings. Some have been incorporated into modern structures such as community centres, housing association accommodation or museums. Others stand alone as mute reminders of a bygone age. These lone kilns are imposing, even slightly spooky structures that still stand tall and wide-hipped, like church spires waiting for the return of a congregation that has deserted them.
I've done a lot of jobs. I've done placing, emptying, china dipping. I've worked in the slip house. You know, you're into a lot on a pot bank that you don't get stuck into. I think my main trade was china dipping. It's dipping your cups into glaze and you have to shake them off so there's no runs, there's no nothing on them, and then put them on a dryer. Them were the jobs that were going. You know, you could sort of walk on a firm, you could have sack and you could go across the road and get another job. When I first left school, there was thousands. You could go anywhere. I was never without work when the pot banks were going, because I could do a bit of everything on them. Okay, I probably wasn't like, I think the only thing I was really qualified at was like placing and emptying and dipping. I bet you I worked for about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
None of them are left. They're all gone. But I think every place I work for has now either been pulled down or has been turned into something else.
Even after the bottle kilns fell into disuse, work in the pot banks remained as it always had been: hot, difficult and challenging. The area's economic future seemed as sound as it always had. Employment was high. Most families in the city were involved in either the ceramics or coal industry, or often both.
Hard work, but good money, good atmosphere, good lads, girls and things like that, you know. Everybody used to come home dusty them days and slip all over here, and and you all used to, you used to go in the morning, you'd put your slops on, because 90% of, let's say, pot bank work was hot. It was red hot on the firm, always hot. Never had air conditioning on them days. Windows and bloody, when I worked on the kilns, you have to take salt tablets. Pores off you. It actually pours off you. You work virtually, well, I used to anyway, just in my underpants. I used to go in the morning, take all my kit off, and then just pull my slops on, my white slops. And mostly with me, I got glaze all over me. You know what I mean? It'd be all in my hair, and when you're shaking like that and you're turning them over for level everything. It's fun. But I used to dip, I think it was 750 dozen a day. 4 hours. And then when you got a kiln down, if a truck collapsed, we used to have to put wet towels all over her head and run in with big gloves on up to here and get the wear out. white hot. But you've got to let them cool down, or else it'll just take your hair off. No, but you've got to keep as low as you can as well, because heat rises. Especially in the kilns, because they're shaped kind of like that. First thing in the morning, you know, you get there, say 7:30, and poof, all the windows open. That was the only time that you'd have a bit of coolness. Yeah. As soon as the kill doors come open, that was it. But you used to open them, we'd open them just a little bit. Because if you just open them straight up, all the way would crack at the front. It's like anything, isn't it? You know, you get a plate, take it out of the oven, if it's sort of white hot, run cold water on it, it'll break. And everybody would book up on Potter's fortnight because all the pot banks used to shut down. And every single pot bank used to do it on Potter's fortnight. And then they changed, they did actually start to change, they'd offer you time in August, 2 weeks in August, you know what I mean? To see if they could sort of, so many could have Potters, so many could have August, so they could still keep the firm open.
Through the 1990s and the first decade of the 21st century, Stoke-on-Trent's manufacturing output has been a shadow of its industrial heyday. The city centre, Hanley, has been redeveloped as a cultural quarter, boasting cafes, bars, theatre, and a new industry has started to develop. However, writing these words in 2012, the UK is currently in the longest sustained period of economic recession in living history. It is fair to say that against this backdrop, Stoke's fortunes are no more secure than those of any other British town. Despite this, the pride of Stoke's citizens, their resolutely cheerful, friendly and welcoming demeanour and their indomitable community spirit remain unshaken. The people of Stoke-on-Trent are fiercely proud of their city, not only of its rich heritage and their rightful place in the country's industrial history, but also of their present and of who they are.